All right. Hey, what's going on? And how are y'all doing today on the first day of August, folks? If you're like me, you are starting to get excited. It is almost time for this bad boy to kick off. Football season right around the corner, whether it be high school, whether it be college, whether it be professional football. It is almost that time. And I'm excited to see what is on the horizon. Everybody, we naturally get up for our Atlanta Falcons, but getting ready to start the season for the University of Georgia as well. Getting ready to kick off that season against the Oregon Ducks, and many high schools in the local area here in Georgia getting ready to kick things off as well. It is going to be fantastic in about another 3 weeks. Kids go back to school this week. Yes. So for all of those parents to finally get that small little break, you're getting ready to get that in a few minutes. But again, your Uncle Steve joining you here in Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube and on Atlanta Bird Gang in Facebook. Please, if you get a chance, join us if you can. I already got people coming in. Brother Rusty, how you doing, brother? Say, what's up, Steve? I'm on my way back to North Carolina. I was actually in the middle of watching your video from yesterday. Traffic on I-95 is a monster. And I'll tell you what, I-95 is a beast even past your area. If you're going towards Miami, up against the coast, I mean, that is just a brutal area and brutal stretch. You guys take care of yourself on that trip coming down, my friend. Totally be careful. What's up, Sequoia? How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you in the house as well. And my brother Jermaine checking in the Atlanta Bird Gang. Kyler's cause was worse than both. Oh, man. So listen, today the news broke, and in case anyone wants to try to get specific about anything, you know, in Atlanta and Uncle Steve's Lounge, we talk about everything, so I'm definitely not worried about there. But in Atlanta Bird Game, we try to keep it Atlanta, and in this case, it very much is related to Atlanta because, as we know, we flirted with the opportunity to have Deshaun Watson on our team earlier this spring, which in turn turned into Matt Ryan saying kick rocks and let me go and all of that stuff. So today, the news of Deshaun Watson hitting that he was only going to get 6 games suspension. Now, I'm shocked a little bit, I must admit. I was shocked a little bit. I kind of thought they would go a little bit more as far as the suspension is concerned. But I also have to caution myself and not be a pawn in the game of perception and what other people think. In this particular case, honestly, the only opinion that matters is the NFL. I know a lot of people, and I want to make clear that in no way do I condone any type of sexual misconduct or anything of that nature. Whether it's abuse, whether it's verbal abuse, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's just not doing the right thing by the opposite sex. And that can go both ways, to be quite honest with you, if you want to keep it real. The public has put Deshaun on trial for things that maybe morally, in a lot of people's world, is it the greatest thing when you start talking about these private masseuses. And let's be adults here. Let's be adults. Private masseuse. If you're gonna sit here and tell me that Deshaun Watson is the only football, basketball, athlete player to partake in this type of stuff, come on. Let's not let's bring the grown folk attitude to this. He's probably not. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened between one or two or three or four of the clients, but something happened that made everything else go left. And hence the investigations and people looking into everything and the grand jury and all of that. But when all was said and done, Deshaun was not charged with any criminal misconduct. In other words, no charges could be filed. So now we're talking about the black eye of the NFL. And when it comes to the NFL, who doesn't have a good track record with things like this, it is a slippery slope. When you start talking about events and things that come up that the NFL has to pretty much kind of say, all right, ooh, it's not what he did, contrary to everybody's belief, was not illegal and immoral, maybe, but not illegal. Those folks solicited people to contact them. And I guarantee you, when this is all said and done years ago, somebody's gonna make a video, somebody's gonna make a book about these whole encounters. And you're gonna see that all things are not what they probably were seeming like in public. Was Deshaun guilty of bad judgment? Yes. Yes. But at the end of the day, it's probably gonna be later on before it's anytime soon. It's gonna come back. So we looked at things. Like I said, we looked at things. The NFL looked at things and said overall that Deshaun only 6 games. Now, keep in mind, Deshaun was on the exemption list last year, all of last year, healthy. But because of the investigation and because of all the cases and things of that nature, he didn't play. Is that taken into consideration? Probably. Deshaun Watson right now, aside of for those folks who think, oh, this is nothing, Deshaun Watson probably can't make any, and I'm not expecting y'all to boo-hoo for this. Deshaun probably can't make any public appearances outside of a press conference. He can't have any commercials. They're probably gonna say keep him away from boys and girls clubs. His image is gonna take a hit for the next couple of years. And he'll eventually get it back because we are a forgiving nation and we realize that people make mistakes. I didn't see anybody banning Robert Kraft or anything when he got caught in his little indiscretion. So we are a forgiving country. We'll eventually get past it. But I think with this judge and one of the things that they did in the collective bargaining agreement the last time, a couple of years ago, is they brought in a judge to decide this case. Now she's going to have to decide to Alvin Kamara. There's a couple more cases that's going to be pretty important to us too. Kamara's might come down the fence today too. I know everybody was waiting on Deshaun, but 6 games. That's a big chunk of money. So it's not like he's getting away scot-free for those who feel like that's just a, slap on the wrist. And then I also look at this comparison that I've seen in the group today. Well, Calvin Ridley got a whole year. And what else? I want people to understand this and understand it clear. Calvin Ridley broke an NFL rule. You cannot bet on your team while on said team. You cannot gamble on your team in any platform, whether it be DraftKings or MGM Grand or Caesars Palace or anything. That's clear. And the precedent has been set. So when that happened, that was already set. You already knew what the punishment. Well, one, you knew you couldn't do it, and you knew what the punishment was. There was one of the players late last year, saying that's one of the first things they show as soon as you come into the facility about not being able to gamble. So again, the difference being rule already set in place, judgment on moral character and the hit that the NFL takes. It's two different things. Calvin Ridley was guilty of breaking a rule, a strong rule, a rule that in a lot of places, gambling, when you start talking about gambling in sports, which I'm sure goes on under the table somewhere with some of these teams like they did in the past, that's straight up fixing the game. Now, in this particular case, Calvin wasn't fixing the game. Now, what sounds kind of innocent is, but Calvin probably knows who's playing. Calvin knows who's going to win. Calvin knows who's going to be on the injured list. Calvin might even have some more inside information in the NFL on what guys are hurt. So all of that, man, there is no comparison to the two. When you start talking about back when Ray Rice sat there and they lied until they saw the video in the elevator, the NFL had a quandary because the wife didn't press charges. Folks didn't know about the elevator. People didn't know what went on. So there were no charges brought up. So the NFL can't go back and be a criminal system and charge you with criminal charges, but they can say in the NFL, in our case, in the NFL, that's a black eye on our organization. It's a black eye for an organization that's paying you millions of dollars. Right? Ray Rice just coming off of a Super Bowl too. Not a good look. Cold cocking your wife in the elevator. No, not good. So in those particular cases, it's different. Those are two different cases. Straight. As much as we were appalled to see that punch in the elevator, unfortunately, because all of that had been swept under the rug, the tape got lost for a few. The NFL tried to hide the tape and all of that stuff. Nothing criminal was brought up. So we couldn't do anything about that. So anyway, just going back that for those of you who are just trying to just drum up some things, it's kind of weird. All right, let me go back to some of these comments. I know I'm way behind. Saquon said, yeah, he set up a whole season last year. Yeah, and that has a lot to do with it. But listen, had the NFL said, yeah, it still doesn't matter. We're not crazy about the look of masseuse land going on in the NFL. They could have said it's worse. But yeah, I understand that the year in the hole that he got when he was on the exempt list probably played a factor in how many games he got. but he was getting paid. That's the only difference. I think you still get paid on the exempt list. What's going on, Clayton? How you doing today, brother? Rusty says, surprised he only got 6 games, but I'm not surprised Calvin got a year. You can't gamble on your own sport as an active player. That opens up a Pandora's box if the NFL just slap Calvin on the wrist. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Absolutely. Going on. Going on, brother Mark. How you feeling today, bro? Good to see you. Talking a little bit about the news came down today. Deshaun, 6 games out. See how that's going to play out in public. You know, you're going to have your folks that are going to be over the top, but I'm sorry. Clayton says, what if Deshaun got a year? NFL going to have to explain Robert Kraft. Yeah, I mentioned Robert Kraft stuff earlier, and you know what? That may have played a lot in it. You never know. I know it was player versus owner. Yeah. Gabriel, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Rusty says 10 games seem right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would have been outraged if it was 10 games. I really don't. It just kind of depends on the people in that room. That's their business. Those are billions of dollars. And they remember, moral, what people try to lean. Let me get my thoughts together. When folks are trying to push their holier than thou morals on you, I try my best, and it's hard sometimes when you have certain beliefs and other people have other beliefs. And I'm not talking about a regular debate, but I'm talking about more religious or just political. When you're trying to push your beliefs on someone else and try to make it like that's just going to be the way it is because that's the norm. It's a slippery slope, man. So for all the people outraged because of the things they read about what went on with these 60 plus clients and the 20 something that filed suit against them, the 20 something who all settled as well. It's a slippery slope when you're trying to push your morals on somebody else. It is. I don't want to stand in judgment, but some people might have a little bit more leeway than I will on certain things. Some people like to curse and scream and loud more than I do. That's fine. I don't have a problem with getting along with a person like that. Just saying that that's not the way I do business. And I think it's fine. And I think those are things sometimes when you start talking about debating and politicking and all of those things where you say, boy, it'd be nice if we could get along better if we try to understand why people do things instead of just saying, oh, my way, you suck. You're the devil if you don't agree with me, what I do. It's kind of stupid. Oh, Killian, what's going on, brothers? And what it do? Good to see you on again. I believe Ridley deserved what he got, and I thought Deshaun got a little less than what I said. 8 games, he got 6. And Killian, one of the things that I was kind of surprised at is how now all of a sudden the same fan base that was absolutely crucifying Ridley because he had a mental break. Now all of a sudden are Matlock and Judge Joe Brown coming to his defense. And I'm saying to myself, let me scroll back and see some of these folks who were dogging out Ridley. I remember trying to come on and tell people, just calm down. Let's see what happens. Let's whatever. No, Ridley let us down, man. If he needed a psychological break, he's a football player. He don't deserve one. All this and all that. Now, all of a sudden, in the last 8 hours or whatever, all these folks coming up on Ridley's side and defending Ridley. Y'all amazing to me. I'm doing like my boy Tiny. I'm gonna start keeping receipts on some of y'all because some of y'all are straight fake. Oh man, Jermaine says just hopping in real quick, brother. About to go into work, brother Jermaine. Good, you enjoy your work, man. Be safe, and we'll catch up with you later on. Clayton says, "What happened to Big Ben again?" Yeah, absolutely. Ben, so a lot of people say Big Ben's case kind of got a little slap on the wrist too, because Big Ben he didn't get prosecuted by for uh, a felony, but there was a suit that was taken care of, and he got what Ben got 6 games, right? He got 5 or 6 games. It's not like he didn't do anything, but yeah, you're right. People always mention Big Ben. Big Ben always. What's up, brother? Said 23 games total. Yeah, I hear you. That's a lot of games. Only difference is in his case, last year on the exempt list, and somebody correct me, I believe you get paid on the exempt list. I'm pretty sure you get paid. And somebody double check me on that one if you do. Jeremy, how you doing, brother? Says whether or not the crimes were real, the fully guaranteed contract and the lost draft picks were enough to scare me off Deshaun. We're trying to get out of that. I'm not in a hurry to get back into it. And Jeremy, before all, the Falcons were dapping when we knew that stuff was on the table. I understand. I still think I like the fact that they were trying to say, hey, we're going to try to get better. In the whole scheme of things, maybe you're right. We got a chance to keep draft picks, got a chance to kind of keep our salary intact right now. So I do agree with that part. But I don't blame our GM if he's going out trying to make our team better immediately. And trust me, with all the noise going around and all the stuff, when all is said and done, Deshaun Watson is an upgrade over 27 teams in the NFL's quarterback at this moment. Tell me if I'm telling a lie. So I understand where you're coming from, but yeah, it's good that we ended up keeping what we did, and we have a chance to start over and get this thing started organically from the ground up. No cheat marks, because Deshaun would have been a cheat code. He would have been a cheat at the quarterback, and then we probably would have been playing with third string players, special team gurus until our salary got back to where it needed to be. Because that $230 million, man, somehow, some way, eventually, Cleveland's going to have to pay the price. Killian says, yeah, see Pete Rose. Yeah, man. Yeah. Pete Rose still playing, and Pete Rose was going in deep, though. Pete Rose was not only betting on his own team, Pete Rose was making moves in games to save his bets. To me, that was the ultimate with Pete. Go back and look at some of that stuff Bart Giamatti brought up against Pete. Pete was low down. Now time should have healed some of that, because Pete wasn't cheating when he was hitting them 4,000 hits. I think that's one of those things they need to go ahead and let go and let that man get in the Hall of Fame. But I understand for the purist of the game how they feel about that. Brother Tidy, how you doing this afternoon, sir? Say 6 games with what he should have gotten. He sat out the whole season last year. He was never convicted of a crime, actually never charged of a crime. You can't over-punish the guy. Big Ben had 2 sexual assault allegations and got 6 games. Thank you. I thought it was 6. Calvin's allegations were sexual misconduct. Again, it was the right amount of games. Calvin, you meant Deshaun. And again, allegations over real-time crimes. The man never went in front of a jury, except the grand jury. He never went in front of a trial jury. He was never charged with a criminal, and they took him there twice, if I'm not mistaken, 2 grand juries. So let's not pretend like they were changing the game for Deshaun. Was Deshaun a little? Deshaun is guilty of just excess. Oh, I shouldn't say just excess. That makes it seem like none of it was. Deshaun, I'm not suggesting that anyone go out there and pay $5,000 for a private masseuse to come in your house and do the massage and ask for extra. I'm not telling you that. What I am telling you is he went overboard. Because you talk about 66 cases, not cases, 66 different times. That's a lot when you can go to Blue Flame and just look at it. And Tidy says, and don't get me started on the but Calvin got 1 year, brother. I tried to address that a few minutes ago, and it's just amazing to me that people don't get the difference between rule in place broken, and there was precedent before for somebody gambling on your own team, but it was only DraftKings gambling on your team. That's a law that's put in place right now because there are no criminal charges against Deshaun Watson. It's the NFL saying, how much did you tarnish the brand? That's what he's getting punished for, folks. How much did you tarnish the brand? That's what this is all about. Nothing else. Clayton says, NFL always been behind civil suits. You can get away with a civil suit and not embarrass the NFL. Ridley can't have a civil suit with the NFL. Ridley's, and look, Ridley accepted the punishment. Remember the tweet? See y'all in a year or something like that? Ridley accepted the punishment. You didn't hear anything about an appeal. You didn't hear anything about, oh, he was fighting them tooth and nail. Really say, okay, yeah, I screwed up. And went on about his business. Rusty says I think another reason people are so outraged is because of that sleazy contract that Cleveland gave him. They knew he was going to get suspended, and they made his salary this year $1 million, kind of mocking the situation. And listen, unfortunately, Rusty, that's what you call on Cleveland's part smart business. You know what's coming down the pipe, so you protect yourself financially. And now that this is out there, and now that it's gonna be done, they're set this year. And Deshaun is gonna play 10 games, barring injury. And so they're gonna be more competitive. They just need Jacoby Brissett to hold down the fort for a couple of games, and I'm gonna get to that in a couple of seconds too. So we'll see how that. Mark says our defense is going to be the show this year. I hope so. We talked a lot about the defense last night, and hoping that these guys truly, come through and do what they do. Dean Pease saying a lot of the folks have taken steps forward. So we'll see. We'll see when we get on the field. Brother Tonio, how you doing, man? Good to see you out here. Good to see you with us today. Says LOL, Tidy went into death row mode on flag. Wait a minute. Has he changed his profile? Oh, Jesus. Did he? Oh, Lord. I didn't see that. Tidy says one of the Big Ben situations happened right up the road. Yeah, I was just about to say one of them was in Middle Georgia in Baldwin County out near Lake Sinclair. He used to own property on the lake and come down here and party hard with some of the college kids in the off season. That was really the hidden case. Was that Milledge? I thought it was Milledge. That's Milledgeville, right? Isn't that where Baldwin County is? Wasn't that near Milledgeville? I thought, maybe I could be wrong on that. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Thank you for joining us. I know you've been busy out there on the road. Appreciate you, bro. Saw some pictures with you last week there, Sean. Uh, Clayton, Clayton says still have to worry about that run game, but Pease got me fired up about our D. I like Denton Pease, man. And I think he's going to be a great teacher to these young folks. I really do. I really do. Tidy says, when the NFL confronted Ridley about the gambling, he did the right thing and admitted he was gambling, which I think will help him get reinstated after only one season. But I think he did do the wrong thing running to Twitter to admit about it. And that's one of the things that I was just kind of concerned. If you remember when that first came out, Tidy, we were talking about that. And like, dude, how dumb can you be, man? Get off Twitter, bro. Get off Twitter. That's a major deal. And yeah, you're not gonna go to jail and you're not gonna whatever, but yeah, dude, just the immaturity of it, man. Get off. Man, you sound like one of my kids I have to tell to get off social media. Stop pressing send, bro. Calm down. And in his particular case, yeah, next year, I hope next year turns out well. My biggest hope for this season is that the receivers we have here with Atlanta and a couple of the free agents, which remember, we didn't sign a lot of multi-year contracts with these guys, but a couple of free agents might stick and we're able to kind of hold on to a couple of people plus Drake, because in the big scheme of things, if everything works out on offense and we still need one more receiver, yeah, in the best light, I'm not sure if I would want Calvin here, but at $11 million, which I'm pretty sure that's the contract, but is it 11 or 16 million? I think it's 11 million that we owe him for that last year. That's a bargain for a receiver of his caliber. Let's not pretend like the dude wasn't all pro his last full year. So for a receiver of his ilk, to have him for $11 million would be great. And then on the other hand, if he is healthy, and he'll only be 27 or 28 next year when he plays, I think Calvin is first round material. I think you can trade for a first round pick for Calvin, especially for a team needing a wide receiver. I don't think we're talking about third round trades in this particular situation. I think you can get away with that. Oh man. James, what's going on, James? James be hanging out there at them concerts, man. I got to get with you out there in them concerts you're at, brother. We play Cleveland week 4 without Deshaun. I'm looking for a W. Yeah. I put up a post earlier today in a kind of a joking manner, talking about how welcome Jacoby to play week 4, because let's face it, I'd rather have Jacoby at quarterback than Deshaun. That was in no way trying to insinuate that Cleveland doesn't have a good team built around them. I realize Myles Garrett is there. I realize Nick Chubb is there. I realize Kareem Hunt is there. I realize they still got some a pretty stout defense. I'm not crazy, but it is better than facing Deshaun Watson. We don't see him. If we don't see him in week 4, that means we won't see him for another 4 years, which is good because he's good. So for those losing your mind and going back to say, well, Jacoby Brissett beat us when he was with the Colts back in 2019. Shut up. And I'm not talking about 2019. And I'm not talking about what Jacoby Brissett did back then. I'm just saying that I'd rather see Jacoby Brissett before I see Deshaun Watson. If you don't understand that, then get a life, sense of humor, and all above. I mean, if I had $1 for every, yeah, well, he beat us in 2019. Come on, man. And then I brought up something that Marcus Mariota beat Tom Brady in 2018 as well. So does that mean because he beat Tom Brady 3 years ago, that all of a sudden he's the Brady killer? Because we had a quarterback that didn't beat him while he was here. Let's go back. Clayton says still have to worry about that running game. But P's got me fired up over our D. I went back. I apologize, y'all. Sorry about that. Jaqual, what's going on? I haven't seen you, brother. Say exactly. Watson fought to be on the field. Ridley was already in I don't want to play mode. Definitely. I'm so sure Ridley didn't get himself caught up on purpose. And again, folks have a very short memory. There were folks in this, group that didn't want to give Ridley a pass. Ridley was horrible for having a mental break and not wanting to go out of town. And I was like, oh my goodness. And it was just crazy, crazy, crazy. Titus said, yes, Millersville, you are correct. Yeah, bro, Big Ben, yeah, that was sleaze all over that one, man. That was sleaze all over. And the mere fact that he went to a one horse, two traffic light town. I'm just joking. I know Millersville is bigger than that. But the fact that he went down, to your point, little nice little country, but kind of like right outside Statesboro. That's why people go to West Georgia. That's why people look. Don't let them fool you. Some of these little college towns, you see some of these football players or former big men on campus, and they go down there and get them a nice little rent a house and do their thing. And none of that shocks me. None of that shocks me. Jaqual said, isn't this a contract year for Ridley? Now, what happened was Ridley this year was Ridley's 5th year option year. This particular year right here. This would have been. We had already accepted the 5th year option for Ridley. But because of the suspension, we don't have to pay him this year. But starting business year 2023, he comes back on the books for that 1 year. So we still owe him that last year. And I'm going to stop guessing and go over here and see. I'm pretty sure it was $11 million, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost super positive. I'm pulling that up now. Jeremy, 11, and see Jeremy looking out. Thank you, Jeremy. No dead money to cut or trade. Perfect. Thank you so much. And I just tried to pull it up. I know you got me covered, brother. Thank you, Jeremy. So $11.1 million, brother, by wide receiver. You see what these wide receivers are getting these days? That's a freaking bargain. So as much as we're saying, yeah, get them out of here. Don't worry about it. But say, for instance, things starting to look a little good and we one wide receiver away. I don't know. You might want to think about it. I think in the big scheme of things, I think his draft, what he could pull back draft-wise, might make up your mind for you. Because I think he can get a first-round pick. What do y'all think? I think he can. Clayton says, you think we're going to cut Ridley or give him a chance to ride on the road to redemption? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that will be a decision made at the end of the season. And a lot of that is going to depend on the maturation of this offense. More importantly, the wide receiver group. Again, I don't think we have a lot of wide receivers that are here for the long term. I'm looking right now at the roster with our wide receivers, positional spending. Right now, wide receivers, we have Drake London, OZ, Bird, Edwards, Bastion, Tate, Frank Darby, and Calvin Ridley. And right now, our highest paid wide receiver is Drake London at $3.9 million. So I'm not sure. Look, I don't even think we want to reward Calvin for his misconduct, but I would be foolish to say, if we one piece away next year and we think it makes a difference, you got to look at it. Toddy says, Steve, at this point, I think Ridley is just untrustworthy in the eyes of the Falcons. The mental health stuff was already questionable. And then gambling while on sick leave. Oh, geez, that's good. Is another thing. I think Blank is ready to wash his hands with Ridley as soon as possible. They were on the verge of trading him before the gambling news broke. I can't disagree. I mean, not disagree. I can't agree more. Because he's almost like Q fired us day off. Gambling on your day off or gambling while you're on sick leave. Yeah, that's rich. And that's true. After reading that statement, I almost want to go back on what I said. But but being business folks, you do have to kind of weigh out everything. So I do understand where you were coming from for that. But that's a strong argument that you put up, though, Tidy, for him to leave. And I still think he can get a first or second rounder. Don't y'all think next year, he's 28 now. I still think you can get a first rounder for him. I do. At least. Rusty says, we are going to get the Aints week 1 without AK and the Browns week 4 without Deshaun. Let's take advantage of that. Did the news come out on Kamara too? Officially, even though I'm pretty sure they're going to be dropping that hammer pretty soon. Did news come out on him? I'm just looking on ESPN to see did I miss something on here. No, I don't see it. All right. Let's see. Go back down here. Clayton says there are predictions saying Ridley will end up with the Browns with Julio next year. Your thoughts? I think that's some strong thinking. I'm not sure if I believe that. I'm not sure. Jeremy says, in my opinion, there's really nothing Ridley could do to warrant staying on the team next year. The mental health break plus gambling while on the break. That's a tough two-piece combo. $11.1 million is a good bargain if he was guaranteed to get back to his early form. But taking 1 year off alone is a tough hurdle to overcome. The statement you just made before, where you say 11.1 is a good bargain. See, I think that was my only argument. You're kind of in the same boat where Tidy is, and I agree with those points. That after what you've done to this, what you did before the gambling stuff, it is going to be a tough climb to get the confidence back with your teammates and all of that. So I do understand, but you can't ignore that $11.1 million for a guy who is kind of talented. So, but I agree. If you got some mental missteps going on, it's kind of hard to trust that. So I do agree with you with that. Ryan says, what's going on, Ryan? Ryan says the defense can't steal. I'm sorry. The defense still can't take the Browns lightly because of former dog Nick Chubb, and he is eating every time he's played the Falcons. He's another William Andrews type. Slow down on the William Andrews comparison, brother. You were probably in diapers when he came out. He was no William Andrews. He was good, but he's good. Let's slow down on that one. But I agree with what you're saying. I'm not trying to tell you that. Cleveland is nothing, and Jacoby can't win the game. Nobody. Oh, that's my Siri coming out. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is, I'd rather play the Browns with Jacoby Brissett other than Deshaun Watson. Plain and simple. Because that could be the difference between a great player at quarterback and a good player at quarterback. There's a reason Brissett is a backup. If Brissett was as good as he was, he would be starting for a team. And they gave him an opportunity to start. And he's missed every time. The game he won against Atlanta, bravo. Did a great job 3 years ago. I'm just saying right now, if his trajectory was that great, he would be starting for a team. He'd be starting for Detroit. He'd be starting for Carolina. He would be starting for what was the other team that needs Seattle. He'd be somewhere wanted. Let's not pretend. Let's not all of a sudden go back to one game against a mental mush Falcon team and try to make this guy seem like he's a Hall of Famer. So I just ask y'all straight up, who do you want to play? Y'all want Deshaun Watson to play? I mean, that was my only point, really, bringing up the post to say, I'd rather play just Jacoby Brissett. And somebody had like I'm putting up Tom Brady's picture up there. Dude, yeah, he won a game against Atlanta. So what? It's kind of interesting. Uh-oh. Let's see if I lost these comments. Clayton says the decision, we do reserve his spot or give it to another person. Arthur needs to begin his words and let go and move on, especially if we got promising wide receivers. But here's the problem, though. I don't know if you just heard, but I said those receivers. Okay, let's be honest with you. Okay, the wide receiver group, Drake will be here, but let's keep it real on the rest of this group that I'm saying. I know we're excited locally. Zacchaeus, maybe. Demir Bird, who was decent in Cincinnati, but Brian Edwards, who was okay, still kind of young too. I might give him a shot. Alden Tate, again, another Cincinnati guy, kind of young. Geronimo Allison, who, if he was that good, he would still be in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers needs some folks there. Frank, I don't know a camera I don't like. Darby. I mean, there's nobody on that list that I just named that is, that I just say sticks out as me as long term. So I don't know. You said needs to be behind. That's what you meant. I got you. Go down here. I'm trying to get down to the next comment, y'all. Let's see y'all talking. All right. He says the way Ridley plays is not good for our team, avoiding contact when we need a first down, that kind of stuff. And I think I know the games you were talking about last year. He did a couple of those where he seemed like he was like running away from contact. And it was so crazy because he came out of the box. What did he get? 10 touchdowns first year? It's so weird. Ryan said he had better numbers than William Andrews when starting his career. Look at his number. Dude, I'm going to tell you like I told somebody else. You can look up historical facts all you want to. There's an eye test that you have. And the eye test that I saw in the 1980s was William Andrews was a more bruising runner than Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is nice. Nick Chubb probably is one of the top, if not top 3, top 5 runners in the NFL. I'm just saying the historical comparison, he is not Andrews. Please don't tell me that. Come on now. You do know Chubb has been consistently a run 1,000 yard back. 4 years. Cool. That's great. That still doesn't make him a better runner. If that's the case, every runner coming up is getting ready to pass Earl Campbell because Earl Campbell didn't run for more than 8 years. We got to stop that. Y'all be careful. William Andrews was way more of a beast than Chubb is at this moment. Chubb is actually, if I say it, he has quicker feet than William Andrews. But nah. Killian says, Brissett is a career backup anyways. We have a shot to win, but we have to see our young guys adapt. And that's my thing. I'm just saying, when I saw a lot of the people commenting on the Brissett thing, everybody thinks that I'm just sit around and collect Falcon stuff, season ticket holder for more than a decade. I talk about this Falcon stuff, and I don't remember the game that Jacoby Brissett lucked up and beat us, and had a game for all games and beat us by a touchdown. Not like he beat us by 20 points. He did all of that stuff and barely beat us. But they're acting like, oh yeah. So what he's gonna do is he gonna go back to the Wayback Machine and all of a sudden gonna do that. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Dave, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Tidy says Andrews had two 2K all-purpose yard seasons in his first 5 years in the league. Chubb doesn't have any yet. Tidy, they don't get it. They don't get it. Again, nobody's disparaging Chubb. I like Chubb a lot. I really do. I think Chubb is awesome. I like Chubb more than Sony when he was at UGA. But I'm just trying to say that you can't just look at numbers here and look at numbers there and just automatically say he's better. If that was the case, the guy we just jettisoned out of here to Indianapolis is better than 97% of the quarterbacks that ever played the game because he got 59,000 yards of total passing yards. It's more than just numbers sometimes. Numbers are important, but it's more than just numbers. I saw this guy in person truck folks all the time. Chubb is a tough son of a gun. He's good, but let's not be so quick to, we want to make historical comparisons. Let's slow down on the historical comparison. Come on now, slow down. I think Edwards would have had another solid year, and he is the only one that I could see recent. And that's what I was saying too. Edwards maybe, but out of the list I just said, no, nope, not at all. Jonathan, man, Jonathan, you leave me alone. Jonathan, talking about stop with the William Andrews stuff is disrespectful. Jonathan, there's gonna be a day I'm just gonna have to get your face on here and let these guys know what that cat was to this team. Had it not been for some bad knees, I'm trying to tell y'all, this cat would have eventually took us back to some higher heights. Because from the blocking back at Auburn in that wishbone to the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm trying to think, what was he? Third round, fourth round? I can't remember what he was, but dude, he was a beast in a land full of beasts. In the 80s, when everybody was running the ball, when the passing game, the only team passing was Air Coryell out in San Diego. Please don't try to tell me about that. Please don't. You can, but just be careful. But you're absolutely right, man. Clayton, let's be honest. Ridley isn't that guy. His stats without Jones isn't number one receiver. I think any of the wide receivers we got might be or equal to the same production Ridley do. But let's not say that too quick because Ridley did eat when Julio went down in 2020. Was 2020? Yeah, 2020. That's when Ridley got his All-Pro designation, second team. Because he did eat when Julio went down. So I disagree. I hear what you're saying. He might not mentally be that guy, but he did perform when Julio left. Last year when Ridley left, Gage was serviceable, but he was not next level. Ridley still kept us in some games. Ridley still did some stuff. Let's not pretend like Ridley didn't do anything when he left. I don't want to bring that up because I think what did Julio missed the last 7 games? 7 games in 2020, whatever it was. So I want to give him his due now. 2020, and most of those games without Julio, 90 receptions, 1,374 yards, 9 touchdowns. Let's not pretend like he didn't do anything. Now, mentally, do you want him to be your number one receiver? I'm not sure if I'm ready to go back to that again. But at the same time, slow down. Slow down. I got to give him his due. Pull this down a little bit. Trying to get to the next full. I see y'all having conversations with yourself there. Here we go. Jimmy Wayne, what is going on? Jimmy, I need to hear some more from you when the year starts out, brother. I need you to get your butt back on here live. We need you, brother. We got your heart. We got your back, brother. We know this summer's been kind of rough and everything, and our heart go out to you, brother. But come over here and just get your mind off some things and come holler at your boys, man. We got your back, my friend, always. Jimmy says, here's the thing. Allegations or not, if the judge had to say Deshaun only need massage therapy from team officials, then 6 games ain't enough. And listen, again, now we get into each other's moral compass. I have a moral compass, and you know, it's one of those things that I try my best not to push my thoughts, feelings, rules on everybody else, especially if I see that you have a different way of doing things. Am I going to call? Well, I'm married, so it's whatever. Am I going to call folks hypothetically, if I'm single? Am I going to call somebody down here for $2,000 to come give me a home massage? I don't think so. I don't think that's my makeup. But I know it's not my makeup. But I'm saying when you have a lot of money, who knows what your morality is or how money could change you. But in the makeup that I am now, I know I'm not doing that. So, but I can't speak for Deshaun by saying, hey, the way you're doing it is absolutely wrong. I will tell Deshaun, if that's found out, you're going to get scrutinized. I can say that, but that's still up to that man's moral compass, how he wants to do things. So, you know. Tidy says Julio's final game was week 13 against. Oh, he played that deep? I thought did he miss? But you know, Tidy, did he miss some games before that year? I know that was the year everybody kept coming back on us, right? But did he miss some games earlier that year? Julio didn't play that many games that year, did he? Or maybe he did. If that's the case, then that means give Calvin a little more credit than due, man. He balled out completely. So, I don't know. Rusty says, seems like Arthur Smith likes big physical receivers. That might decide Calvin's fate in Atlanta alone. I thought about that too. I think I actually brought that up yesterday, Rusty, that he seems to have a type, and maybe, and I'm telling you, when my son and I were at the practice thing earlier, and when it was in June, the mini camp, and I saw them cats come out, I promise you, the first thing I thought was, I'm used to seeing big boys. You know, I'm a big boy, but to see all that height, and I was saying to myself, what is this, the Atlanta Falcons or the Atlanta Hawks? Because them cats probably could do some damage out there on the court with the height that I saw out there. But yeah, maybe that's the type of guys they're gonna be. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how that's gonna work out. Russ says, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's not big or physical. And you know what he was at that time? He was an Alabama receiver. And at that time, there was a nice little run on Alabama receivers where everybody thought that was a winning combination. Alabama receiver, automatic NFL player. Armani says, I always thought, Calvin, how you played in the SEC and don't like to be physical. Yeah, that's true too. It's funny. I was listening to Julio's battery mate, Greg. What's my boy name? McElroy. What was it, McElroy? What's the quarterback name that was playing with him? And I said, and he was saying the same thing about physical receivers in the SEC. And you start thinking about it and going back and looking at that group. And the SEC puts out some, well, SEC just put out better players, in my opinion. But man, the bosses really, them boys really boss in the SEC, those wide receivers. Killian says, "Yeah, we gonna have scrimmage against the Falcons." And hey, but listen, the difference was too, Killian. Those guys had some meat on them too. You didn't see skinny boys out there, except maybe Tate. Tate got a little thin, but Drake a big boy. Drake got some framework. And I forgot the other boy. I don't think that was Edwards, or maybe it was Edwards. But that's saying me and my son was looking, they were averaging 6'2.5" to 6'4" from what I saw. And you could almost tell, you know how you could tell? Because when they came down to the practice field, if y'all ever been to Flowery Branch, they got the little 4 fields out there. And they came out there to the goal post, and all of them were by the goal post. And you know how tall people, you know how you hate in basketball if you're kind of short. I'm 5'11", and you got tall people, and the first thing they do when they go to the basketball court is go touch the rim just to show you and show out. Hate those guys. But the guys at the goal post run up and, you know, tip the bottom of the goal post. Just like 4 or 5 of them did it just for the mess of it. And I just say to myself, show offs. But we do need that. We do need that this year. So that's good. Tidy says the week Julio missed were 3, 5, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. So, and I was saying, I thought he may have missed a couple more games. It was rough watching him limp around all season. Unfortunately, I could see his body breaking down on him that season. He hurt the hamstring week 1 and could never recover. The problem is, Tidy, didn't it seem like that was the narrative a few times? It seemed like he did that quite a few times where he was not able to, he get hurt and then never quite recover. Honestly, I think because his body was a little younger in 2016, if y'all remember, he missed a couple of little spots in 2016, kind of the same way. But I think he kind of fought through because I think he knew that team was special. And you know, he kind of pushed his way through. I think if the Falcons had a better start that year, and I think that was the year we lost the little stupid games to Dallas and Chicago at the beginning of the year. And so by the time week 12, 13 came along, remember they kept asking Raheem, was he going to be back? And Raheem had a lame excuse every time. And you just knew he wasn't. Because Julio was on the field a couple of times, right? Yeah, because he was in street clothes for a couple of those. So, yeah. Armani says, I really want to see what Edwards is going to do on the other side of London. It ought to be interesting to see. Because, quite honestly, those two are probably higher grade than what we had going on. And all due respect to Russell Gage, who was thrust into that position. He was thrust into the number 1 position. He wasn't ready for that. He was somebody that you could rely on to catch a little first down every now and then. But I still think Tampa overpaid him, if you ask me. But Tati says, yeah, Drake is a big physical wide receiver. Dude is big, man. Dude is big. Killian say for charity in the ATL. That, like I said, they might do something with them Hawks. That Hawks might not want to expose that. Them young boys might run up and down the field on them. Tidy says Falcons probably will look for a speeder wide receiver in the draft in 2023. You better look in the draft, Tidy, because the way these wide receivers coming off now, folks getting paid almost $20 to $25 million, making Julio's contract look like Dollar General. Folks getting $25 million a year to play. AJ Brown got paid. Tyreek got paid. Stephon Diggs got paid. Cooper Coop getting paid. So honestly, it is probably best right now to find your wide receivers in the draft because you got to pay big money for them cats to come here. Toddy says 2019 is when the hamstring injury first happened and it just carried over. But you're right. We got used to seeing him limp around in the past, and youth was more on his side. So he was able to push through. One of my favorite Charles Barkley quotes is, when you get old, you start to get injured. And that ain't the dude. That's not just in sports, man. I'm just trying to tell y'all. The things I used to do at work that I used to muscle stuff up, that when they used to say, man, that's a 2-man lift. And I was like, I got it. Now, I'll sit there and wait an hour till the second person come in and get me. Age is undefeated unless your name is Tom Brady. And I have a sneaky suspicion. And mark my word, I'm not prophesizing hurt on the man or injury on him. But boy, the loss of Ryan Jansen in the middle, I'm trying to tell you, man, Tom don't like to get hit. And if you start concentrating some stuff coming right up the middle on Tom and start firing them up a little bit, 45 years, I don't care who you are, man. 45 years hitting the ground as opposed to 42 years hitting the ground is going to feel different. I still stand by that. I'm not sure if he's going to make it through 2022. We'll see. Tonio said, man, they had Pitts, London, and Tate on the first team this weekend. It looked crazy and scary. And see, you had a front row view of that, Tonio. I can imagine what I'm going to see when they're having it at the Mercedes-Benz on August 15th. I'm going to be out there. Hopefully, I'll have my Bird Gang shirt on and everything. So hopefully I'll catch a couple of y'all out there. But I want to see how that looks too, man. Because sometimes sometimes it is about what it looks like. What it looks like might be scary to other teams. So I don't know. Jimmy says, I question his deal, but Falcons got cheap deals from Julio and Matt, especially with the contracts going up. They got them at the right time. Because remember, at the right time, at that time, Jimmy, Julio was the highest paid wide receiver at that moment. So, that was at that time it was good. And I think Matt was the highest paid quarterback. So, Amani says Zacchaeus got speed on him. He playing the slot, right? I think that's where they're going to have him lined up. I'm pretty sure that's where they have. Well, look, unless Frank Darby decides to show up and play, I see them on more. I see Darby on more video. Well, they did show one catch he made on tape. I get so tired sometimes. Falcon website, they'll throw one little play up there, and all of that is cool. But until I see it going against another team, it means nothing to me. So I don't know. I just want to see them cats get better. Titus says, Homer alert statement. But imagine Pitts, Drake, and Brock out, boy. And I'm going to tell you what. So I know I talked to Tidy enough and the rest of you guys enough. On my DVR, I've kept the Braves. Actually, I have from the Milwaukee game all the way through the World Series still on my DVR. And I still have the national championship game. And I keep remembering how I keep going back to the tape. I keep going back to the ABC feed. And there's actually one on YouTube that has Scott Howard and Eric Zier on the feed, and it matches up with it. When Brock Bowers catches that ball, and I said to myself, that man took 3 steps. And I'm being facetious, But that man took about 2-3 steps and he was in the end zone. Brock Bowers is going to be a beast when he comes out. And matter of fact, if he trends in the right direction, he might get hired in that Kyle Pitts pick. Bowers is that man, and to see him move like he did, and we really didn't even use him in the national championship game. But Bowers is going to be trouble. He is going to be trouble for somebody. That bad boy is good. I'm trying to tell you. Woo! Oh man. Rusty says Darby is gonna get cut. Screenshot. Oh, I don't even think you need to screenshot it, man. They making this dude. Darby might be in trouble. So I hope he has his stand-up career ready. But he might be in trouble because there's some real competition this year. Absolutely. Killian says Bowers is a beast, man. Man. And then my other dude on the other side ain't that bad either. What's my man name? The other tight end. He's pretty good. Georgia, man, if Georgia can sufficiently, and I'm not saying talent-wise, but if they can plug and play, because the talent will be there. It might not emerge until next year, but if it emerges sooner, if they get it by October, I don't see anybody beating them. And that's with Stetson too, y'all. About time we got to start giving that brother some love. I think they got a real good chance. Tonio says, yes, OZ better get it together because they had Pitts in the slide. London and Tate wide in the red zone for our damn cornerback look like some Smurfs. Hey, that's one way that you beat him. Be taller than him. Absolutely. Oh, what's going on, Ray? How you doing, brother? Ray says, I'm officially retired, Steve. 24 years and done. I should be able to get on some of these live feeds. First, man, congratulations, brother. Ray, I'm going to tell y'all what Ray was doing. Last year, all the way out, Ray was in Korea, and Ray would pop in early in the morning, 3-4 in the morning as a military guy. And I can tell you, even when I was in Germany and I was in Kuwait, when you getting up in the middle of the night because you enjoy some other stuff, and Ray is one of them cats that have been loyal to the Bird game, brother. And I just say congratulations, man. Y'all make sure y'all give it up for brother Ray, and we look forward to having you here inside the live feeds, brother. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Outstanding. Tiny says Darby gonna be a TikTok superstar. He probably will. Dude, I'm just trying to see it translate to the field. That's all I want to see. I want to see that translate to the field. Too bad Bowers not gonna help y'all this year. Roll Tide coming back in blood. Look, let me tell you something. Because I'm definitely more pro guy than I am college guy, but I root for my teams. I root for Georgia. Yes, I root for Georgia Tech. I root for Georgia State, Georgia Southern, whoever's there. But I will tell you this, and I mean this without prejudice. Y'all know we poked the bear down there in Tuscaloosa. Because Nick, this is one of them years that's going to be like 2 years ago where Nick outscoring folks by 20 points every game. This ain't going to be like last year. Last year, they sleptwalk a little bit. Close games, lost to Texas A&M, stuff like that. You ain't going to see a lot of that this year. I think Nick Saban's going to be on a mission this year, folks. Don't y'all forget that. And I'm rooting Georgia 100% all the way. But it's not going to surprise me. It is not going to surprise me at all. Not at all. um, Jimmy says Bauer and Washington. Washington, that's the other cat. Plus Gilbert, them boys going to be hell at Georgia. And that's the thing, Armani, when you talk about it. But I'm going to tell you what, you might as well get ready because there's going to be a lot of red and black in the stadium for the next 2-3 years. And first of all, y'all better make sure y'all get past my man, what's my man who win it, Nick, this year? Texas A&M. Oh, Jesus. What's my boy's name? And I know y'all about to throw it up. I'm trying to say it before I see it. Head coach who called him out. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, man, that's gonna be interesting. Killian says Stetson in the second round next draft. It'll be interesting to see how they do Stetson. I think Stetson's measurables might not be enough at the next level, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Say, Antonio says, Darby makes my behind itch. I wanted to throw my son's football. With all that damn dancing. Oh man, you gotta either love him or hate him, man. And if he's giving an interview, I love him, but I'm one of those people that I hear a lot of talk, man, as the great John Harris / Preacher John / John from Union City would say, take it off the paper and put it on the field. That's what you got to do. Darnell Washington. Yeah, that's it. Washington. Darnell Washington. He was good. Say up the roll ties pissed off. They should be. And you know the favorite, y'all know my favorite. If any of y'all still have a DVR of the game, my favorite parts of that, and it just show you how much of a Bama bias that ABC, ESPN still has. Every time Georgia, when those last 3 plays, when Bennett hit my man on the bomb in the corner, when Bowers made the touchdown, and when Ringo just grabbed inside their heart and ripped it out on that pick 6, every single camera shot they showed was not of Georgia people celebrating. They went straight to the Alabama fan, which is almost a troll. But every time, you didn't see them go to the Georgia fans. They went to the wide shot of the Georgia fans. But then the only thing you saw on the Alabama fan is like, Stetson throws the bomb in the corner. Then you see the Alabama fan. Brock Bowers scores a touchdown. He runs it in. Touchdown. Alabama fan. Kelly Ringo, he's coming in. He's getting ready to run. He's got go. Oh, no, wait. Georgia wins the national championship. Alabama fans. That was the whole thing. Oh, man. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful to see that. Oh, man. I'll go here. Tiny says Texas is going to be a problem in college ball this year, too. Yeah, Texas was about a year away. I think everybody saw Sarkisian come last year and thought he was going to immediately do it real quick, and that wasn't what it was. Yeah, it's going to take him a second. He's got to acclimate. Look, I remind people who want to dog out Sarkisian in Atlanta. That year, 2017, he had a rough transition. 2018, the offense balled. That was the year that every single defensive player we had went out by week 3. If y'all remember 2018. 2018, from a statistical wise from the Falcons offense balled in 2018. Had a little trouble running, but the offense balled that year. But that was the year we lost Rico, One of the cornerbacks. I'm trying to think who I'm thinking about. We lost Dion for a little bit. We lost Grady for a little bit. We lost a lot of people that year, and we immediately had to kind of push the reset button. So that was kind of weird. Killian says, we don't know what's going to happen. That's why they play the game. Jimbo Fisher. That's who I'm thinking about. Jimbo Fisher. Appreciate that. Jimbo. Thank you, Armani. I know you should know that name, Armani. He coming, bro. Jimbo coming. They done beat you before. They done beat you before. Y'all up here putting up all these Neil contracts for everybody. And you calling me a hypocrite. I tell you what I do. And you know you ought to be shaking yourself. You know what's going on behind the back. He was going off on Dick, boy. That was some funny stuff. Gregory said, what's up? What's going on, Greg? They really underestimated this roster. I love it. It's easier to shock and surprise some teams than going underestimated. I say that's why I say when I see a USA Today predict us to go 2-15, when I see the Athlon NFL book say that we're going to be worse than Detroit, Seattle, which my thing is Seattle of all teams, which is stripped of pretty much everything with the exception of re-signing or extending DK Metcalf. I'm like, really? Y'all saying Geno Smith-led team is going to be better than ours? That's some disrespect. But to your point, we'll see. Tonio says, sounds good, but I think we still have better players, so there's not that much Nick can do. And again, the quality of players I'm not worried about. The quality is I'm worried about them stepping in and immediately playing as a group to that level. I totally believe on the talent level, we are right there, and in some cases, better. Because last year, talent-wise, we were better than Alabama. But I'm saying those guys who are the 4 and 5 stars who had to wait, and now they're going to get their chance to come in. I'm just saying, are they going to be able to jump in and keep the machine moving? That was a historical defense. Sans the SEC championship game, that was a historic defense. They scored 1 touchdown against Georgia in the national championship game. For all of you that not keeping score on that, they scored 1 touchdown. That is an awesome defense Georgia has. And if anything, and I even realized, shoot, you might have kept the best lineman on the team. The best lineman didn't even come out this year, in my opinion. I think Jordan Davis was a space eater. I don't think he was the best. But I truly think, yeah, they got some chances to do some things. Dr. said, yeah, Jimbo Fisher. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot. I'm looking at him dead in my face. Armani's still mad. I don't know why Nick came on national TV and lied like that. We didn't buy a single player. I'm a Bama fan, and I know that's a damn lie. Stop the BS, Coach Saban. Well, Saban got to save his skin, though. You know that. Saban got to save his, And he know he was probably wrong, too. He know he was wrong for that. And he go back in retrospect, he know he was wrong. Saban was at LSU. He was saying the same stuff. So he know he was wrong. Excuse me. Ray says, I don't think people realize that the last 3 touchdowns scored by UGA were by freshmen. Great point. Because Ringo was redshirt, right? Because Ringo could come out this year. Tidy said, what's so inspiring and surprising about the game versus Alabama last year is when UGA needed big plays in the clutch, they made them over and over again, especially when Alabama looked like they were about to take the momentum and dominate late in the game. Got to be honest, just not used to seeing that from a Georgia team. And then the Braves did the same thing in their run. Excuse me. I go back, which I don't mind ever going back about winning moments. The game was nervously close early. And I think Georgia fans probably said, okay, here's the moment we usually crap the bed. With the Stetson Bennett, did he fumble? Did he try to throw it? Play. I think Georgia, the Dog Nation as a whole, said, oh, this is that moment. The moment that's happened for the last 40 years. The moment that escapes us. The moment we fumbled the ball on special teams in a few years ago. The moment we didn't win the game against Florida, and we could have easily played Ohio State for the national championship instead of Miami that year. Those moments there. I think that was everybody going back saying, oh man, here it goes again. But Stetson, and I think you got to give Stetson credit. Stetson came back that next drive and hit 3 out of 3 passes of 15 yards or more, including that one pass where James Cook made an awesome pickup block and hit my man in the corner. And you said to yourself after that pass, oh, hold on a second. This ain't the same stuff Georgia usually do. Wait a minute. We might try to win this bad boy. So from that moment on, I think that could be a catalyst for the next couple of years where Georgia is saying, oh, not only can we win this thing, we might be able to string 2 or 3 of these together, a la Clemson. We can do this. And I think they took a big step with that like last year when they did that. Armani says Georgia needed that win way more than Alabama fans did. I was happy with y'all. Yeah, but don't diminish it like that, though. I hear what you're saying, and I know you probably mean it good-hearted, but when you do the pity thing, yeah, they needed it more. No, Alabama would have celebrated like it was like they had won the national championship for the first time if they had it. So yeah, keep the same energy for Bama. Don't be, don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. Gregory says, eventually every dynasty falls. Better tell Bama. See Rome. This is true. This is historically true. And my brother Dallas Cowboys on YouTube, man, said Watson brings money. Ridley does not remember it's all about the bags. Go Cowboys. But hey, man, I meant to ask you, now that you're hearing the news, are you hearing the news about now Atlanta maybe wanting to keep Deion Jones? Because it was rumored that Dallas was going to try to make a move with him to be reunited with Dan Quinn. So what you think about that? And see how that works out. Oh shoot, let's see. Armani says taking all bets for the Texas A&M and Alabama game. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna take that one. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Trying to catch up. So yeah, when Kiki got hurt, I almost cried with him. 2018 freaking stuff. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. When all them cats went down in those first 2 games, and I think 2 of them went down in the game against New Orleans. Remember when Drew Brees snuck it in? So, we'll see. Toddy says, yes, Nick came back and cleaned up his comments and apologized, but UGA butt whooping was still fresh. Yes, sir. All day, all night. Tonio says, tell Armani 10-8, they're going to lose the fight in the game. Jimbo's revenge. Don't tell me we're gonna have to do a live reaction show for the Alabama Texas A&M game, y'all. Oh man. Tiny says Stetson made a man within the UGA community. Let me tell you, a made man. I'm sorry. Stetson's a made man within the UGA. As I said, my wife, bless her heart, because she keeps up with sports, but she doesn't get the gravity of stories behind the scenes. I told her, I said, that moment that Keely Ringo got that interception, Keely Ringo and Stetson Bennett don't have to buy another steak dinner within 20-mile radius of Athens, Georgia for the rest of their life. If they fall on hard times wherever they are in their place and they just need a meal, they can always go 20 miles within the Athens area. There'll be a hotel, there'll be hot food, and there'll be there will always be some lodging available for Keely Ringo and Stetson Bennett, without a doubt. And you just think about that. And just keep this real, Bulldog fans. Y'all won 2 national championships in the last 40 years with quarterbacks named Buck and Stedman. I can't make that up. I'm just saying. So, Toddy says, I went to the SEC game when Bama crushed us, and boy, oh boy, those Alabama fans were lighting my behind up after the game. Did show some sympathy, though. Guess they saw the hurt in my eyes. And listen, the SEC, at that point, because Georgia was so historic that year, I don't think it was a chance that they weren't going to make the playoffs. So I wasn't really super concerned. I was saying to myself the whole time, Georgia fans, don't get super obsessed. Because I almost think psyche-wise, you know what? It probably not have been the best thing to beat up on. Well, if you would have beat up on Alabama, they would have been eliminated. So maybe that was a good thing if you won. But yeah, they just played up to par that last time. So hey, Lisa, how you doing? I'm getting my Ridley on, and I'm taking over on the Falcons. Oh man. Ryan says Stetson is Buck Bellew and Ringo is Lindsey Scott. Absolutely. Absolutely. That historical play in Florida, that was and the funny thing was, back then they didn't have cable and all of that. So you didn't, have stations to change and stuff like that. You had the one big TV, and we knew Florida was beating us. And I will even say the Georgia-Florida thing, it was a rivalry, but it was nowhere near it was by the time it got to the late 80s and the 90s when Florida actually started winning. And, man, I just remember Lindsey Scott outrunning them cats. And I just said to myself, to watch my dad and mom lose it like they did. And, as a kid, you sitting there, and I was about 10, I think. I was sitting there like, all right, okay, because I know I'm supposed to be rooting for Georgia. But at the same time, I was like, what was it? My dad was trying to explain to me how big of a game that was. And then, of course, eventually went into the national championship with you guys, Republican Senator nominee Herschel Walker up here. So, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. Buck Bellew and Stetson Bennett. Clayton says they can come to Augusta, and they made here too. Oh, absolutely. Listen, in Atlanta too. Don't get it twisted. In Atlanta, they're made too in Atlanta. So, that's why, as I was talking about yesterday when we were talking about Matt Ryan, the difference between that point in history that can never be changed as a champion. That's why, as Falcon fans, circling back to where we started, we want a reason to cheer. We want a reason to get behind these guys. The Falcons were literally one play, and you choose up to 10 plays that could have changed the outcome of that game. And we would be talking about Matt Ryan, Hall of Fame, Matt Ryan, statues, Matt Ryan, buy a free drink anywhere he wants to go, to now where we're jettisoning him out of here, some of us calling him a bum and all this and all of that. It's a difference. If things don't fall Georgia's way, Stetson becomes Jake Fromm. He becomes Eric Zier, Matt Stafford, DJ Shakti, David Green, all those cats who came close but couldn't do it. And you have a reason to say, but Stetson did it. And as horrible as Buck Bellew, and I love Buck Bellew as a broadcaster, seems like he's a cool guy and all this and stuff, but Buck was garbage as a thrower. But he hit that one throw against Lindsey Scott. And now, that one throw probably got him that radio job. Tidy says, you know the story with Ringo's mom last year? Yeah, you know his interception was poetic justice. You couldn't write a better book if you tried. Yeah, and I know his mom was fighting cancer last year. And I'm trying to remember, did she actually make the game or not? I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty jacked up. Folks, I wish, and I know I kind of came on early because I kind of figured Tidy was going to pick up the mantle because, of the Deshaun news. And it does kind of relate to us in a certain way because we don't have to play. We don't have to play against him with Cleveland. But I've got to go to my daughter's open house here in the next 10, 15 minutes. So I got to get ready. But I appreciate the love, y'all, and good conversation. And just keep it going, man. Keep it going on the post. Keep it going. Keep all the conversation going. Like I said, I don't know whether Tidy's going to come on later on or not and talk about things, but I'm sure somebody will come on, Ryan, just to discuss the ramifications of this move and kind of discuss all as well as how it doesn't really match up with what Ridley did. That's the thing I really want us to understand and get that through fans' eyes, that these are two completely different scenarios going on. So I appreciate y'all. I see y'all. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Tonio. Appreciate you, Ryan. Appreciate you, Rusty. Appreciate you, Clayton. Appreciate you, Killian. All the guys. If I missed your name, I apologize. But we'll catch y'all on the next go round again. Football season. That stuff is coming up, man. We're gonna get it right, y'all. Y'all be good now.